And we welcome you to the Jim Masters Show live. How are you this very day? Hope you guys are doing well. It's a pleasure to have you with us. I'm your host, Jim Masters, and we thank you for making us a part of your day from literally all around the world. We've been having so many people from all around the world who have been discovering this entertainment lifestyle talk show that we created about 5 weeks ago. Again, if you're just joining us for the very first time, I welcome you. This is what I do for a living. I'm a professional television and radio host, usually in TV studios or radio stations or on television shoots or on stages. But about 5 weeks ago, we launched this here at the home studio because so many people, industry colleagues and viewers and listeners, fans, followers, family and friends said, Jim, you should create something like this. An entertainment lifestyle talk show, because I've hosted just about every kind of show you can think of on television and radio. So we put it all together, built this set, got the crew together, and we have created something really special here because you're here, many of you, every single night loyally. Matter of fact, once a week, we celebrate a viewer of the week, a faithful viewer from around the world who has been watching the show nightly and very supportive of the show, sharing the links, having watch parties and celebrating the show because we have just about something for everybody on this show. We have great guests from a myriad of fields of endeavor, from television and film and from Broadway, music, as well as a whole host of artists, painters and designers, scientists, life coaches, motivational people, sports legends. And you think of it, we've got it here. And then when we don't have guests, we do a lot of fun segments too. We've done cooking and we've done on locations. I've taken the wonderful audience we have here in the Jim Masters Show on location, and we filmed on location, and we share some of the amazing adventures here on the show as well. So it's a real privilege and a pleasure to have you here. And I know we have an audience that truly is literally all over the world. We hear from across the United States as far as our viewers, Canada. We've heard from multiple locations in Europe, Asia, and Australia as well. So we welcome you all, no matter where you are around the world. This show is here to bring, as I always say during the course of the show, some light, levity, and love. That's what it's all about. Through the various conversations we have and the wonderful segments, fun segments, light segments, and sometimes we get into some deep conversations as well. We've had so many spectacular guests again on the show and more to come. And we have a very special guest who's going to be joining me in just a moment. He is a prolific writer. He's an award-winning veteran of the stage and theater, stephencole. We're going to be chatting with him in just a moment. And he's working on some really exciting projects, but he's been involved in so many extraordinary projects in the world of musical theater and has been responsible for years and years of phenomenal entertainment. And he's worked with some of the legends in the business. And we are so excited to have him here. We've got a great conversation. We have lots of video of actual shows to show you and so much more. But first, as you know, or if you're a brand new viewer of the Jim Masters Show live, here streaming and simulcasting every single night. We're here 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific live worldwide on YouTube at the YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. Feel free to subscribe to the channel. I'll subscribe to yours as well. Spread the love, spread the joy. Also on Facebook. We welcome everybody that's watching on Facebook right now. Also at Jim Masters TV. We stream again and simulcast nightly, every single night, 7 nights a week at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific with the Jim Masters Show live. And so many of you are spreading the word, sharing the links, having watch parties, inviting people to be on the show. We are actually booked out with guests all the way just about into early July, which is amazing considering we launched this entertainment lifestyle talk show just 5 weeks ago. This is week number 5, and we've had so much fun together, and we have comments galore already. And we'll share some of the comments because it's a very interactive, viewer interactive show. But first, as you know, or if you're just joining us for the first time, we have some cast of characters here that we always invite and join us on the show as well. Again, for those of you who are new to the Jim Masters Show live, I did a nostalgic week where for one night, I whipped out all of the childhood toys. And we were talking about them with the viewers. And then the viewers started celebrating their childhood toys and showing them as well. So my sidekick here on the Jim Masters Show Live is the one and only George Burns. And there he is with his cigar and his glasses. This is the authentic George Burns doll. Came out when he was 100 years old. My aunt collected this, and then my cousin Barbara gave it to me. So George says hello to everybody. He hopes you're doing well. He's sort of my Ed McMahon on the show. I put him on for one night during Nostalgic Night, and guess what? The viewers, you guys said, keep him on the show. We love George. So everybody looks for George. And of course, we have Jeannie. Yes, she's in there. Can you see her in there? She's blinking. Jeannie is in there. The hair salons are not open. So she's not able to get her hair done. So she's in there. She says hello, but she won't come out because she's fed up. Her hair hasn't been done since March. She lost her powers because she's been quarantined in her genie bottle since March. So she won't come out. So are you hanging in there? Doing all right? Yes, master. This is actually the authentic iJimmy Genie bottle. It weighs a ton. It's all hand painted. I don't know if you knew that on the actual series with Larry Hagman and Barbara Eden, the design of the Genie bottle came from an actual Jim Beam liquor bottle. That's pretty fascinating, right? You learn something new every day here on the show. And again, another cast in our characters here that everybody looks for. Here is your friend Silver, this canine. He is here. Silver, we picked up on a TV shoot when we were in Europe. This comes from Switzerland. There he is with his paws. He says hello as well. Again, it's all about light and levity and love, right? Got to put smiles on your faces. We've had some rough couple of months here worldwide. One last cast of character here that everybody asks to see is Jimmy the clown. This is a childhood toy. There's his little feet, all made of porcelain, given to me by my parents when I was a kid. And he says hello to you as well. So there you go. How can you not smile with a face like that, huh? This face? Maybe. That face? Yes. So Jimmy's here. He says hello. And of course, we like to go a little Hollywood. We spare no expense on the Jim Masters Show Live. So we say, of course, to begin the show all the time, every night, lights, camera, action. There we go. We officially start the Jim Masters Show Live. I hope you've had a wonderful day. I hope your day has been busy, creative, maybe peaceful. There's a lot going on in our world right now. You just have to turn on the TV and you'll see everything that's happening. And we wish you the very best, all the blessings all the time that life can bring. And again, we're about lifting the spirit and inspiring and empowering people with everything we do on every episode of the Jim Masters Show Live. And as always, we begin the show as well by raising our glass and toasting you and 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 everybody watching around the world. Now, let me tell you about my great guests. Normally, sometimes we do other features before we start the show. We do celebrity birthdays and all kinds of cool things like that. But right now, I want to get right into my interview with my very special guest. Now, I've known this fine, distinguished gentleman for a number of years now. We actually met at one of his shows, and it was a fantastic evening. Mermaid's Apprentice. We're talking about the celebration of the legendary Ethel Merman, and so many incredible people. We got a chance to meet that night and hang out with Reva Solomon and Claire Blackhurst and Ralph Lampkin and so many other dear friends. And we've all stayed friends after that fantastic night in New York City. And that was at Birdland, of course, the famous Birdland. And we had such an amazing time. And every time we've seen each other, the last time I saw Clea, she was performing actually, she's a brilliant performer at Yale University, the musical theater there, and she was fantastic. And Stephen and I have stayed in touch, and Ralph has, and Reva and I have stayed in touch multiple times at a lot of wonderful events in and around the New York area. But let me tell you about our very special guest. He is here. He's waiting in the wings. He's an amazing person. And, you know, a lot of these guests that I have here on the show, what I love about them is they are very creative, but they also put their heart and soul in everything they do. This is called... That's a little clip we're going to show you in just a second. Just a little teaser. I just wanted to tease you there. But he's amazing at what he does. Look at this picture. We're going to go back in time a little bit first. You recognize anybody in this picture? Mm-hmm. Yes, there he is with the one and only Ethel Merman. Isn't that an incredible, incredible shot? He's extraordinary, and we're going to talk about this as well. I love that. and so much more. But again, stephencole is an award-winning musical theater writer whose shows have been recorded, published, and produced from New York City to London to the Middle East and Australia and even Edinburgh, Scotland. That's right. His off-Broadway musical, After the Fair, winner of 5 Dallas Theater Awards for its world premiere with music by Matthew Ward, including Best New Play or Musical, was nominated for the Outer Critics Circle Award for Best Musical and was subsequently produced in London to great acclaim. The original cast CD featuring Tony winner Michael Pauck won several awards. The 20th anniversary concert version was a sellout success December 21st, 2017 at Urban Stages. Another is The Night of the Hunter. That's another fantastic one. That won the prestigious Edward Clyburn Award and was produced in San Francisco, where it was nominated for several Bay Area Theater Awards. The musical has subsequently been produced in New York City as part of the New York Musical Theater Festival in 2006, where stephencole won a Best Lyricist nod. And in October 2010 at Lyric Stage in Dallas, featuring David Gaines, Julie Johnson, and a 24-piece orchestra. And Hunter was given a grant from the National Endowment for the Arts, and the CD has received rave reviews from the press, including Billboard magazine, who called it one of the best CDs ever to serve to introduce a new musical. It is blessed with an accomplished score. The CD also won the prize as Best New Musical on CD from the German Music Critics. Here's another one, Saturday Night at Grossinger's. That has had a successful run in Dallas, starring Gavin Mcleod. Remember, Gavin, of course, was the captain on the Love Boat. And, of course, the wonderful Ruta Lee. It was also in Los Angeles and Florida and so much more. Broadway legend Cheetah Rivera toured in his show Casper. Now, do you remember this one? This one was fantastic, too. Casper, the friendly musical. This also played Australia and has had a new world premiere at the Cincinnati Children's Theater in October 2019 to rapturous reviews. And Hal Linden and Dee Hoty starred in the world premiere of another musical adaptation of his as well. And that one, Dodsworth, music by Jeffrey Saber. Dodsworth has subsequently been workshopped with John Cullum and Christine Ebersole. Stephen has been represented off-Broadway with the hilarious piano bar at the Triad as well. In 2005, Stephen and composer David Crane were commissioned to write the first American musical to premiere in the Middle East, and the result was Aspire, which was produced in Qatar. Their amazing and hilarious cross-cultural experiences resulted in yet another musical about the creation of the show entitled The Road to Qatar, which was produced to rave reviews at the Lyric Stage, winning Best New Play or Musical from the Dallas-Fort Worth Drama Critics Forum. The Road to Qatar had a successful off-Broadway run as well at the York Theatre Company and was recorded by J Records. In 2012, Qatar was presented as part of London's Langer Theatre Page to Stage Festival, and in August 2013 played at the Edinburgh International Festival, garnering 5- and 4-star reviews and nominations as Best Music, Lyrics, Book, and Best Musical of the festival. The show is published and licensed by Joseph Weinberger Limited in London. Crane and Cole also wrote a short movie musical entitled The Wheels Go Round that was accepted and shown at 5 international film festivals, including the Big Apple Festival in New York City. And Saber and Cole's musical Time After Time had its world premiere in February 2010 at the Pittsburgh Playhouse under the direction of Gabrielle Barry, and was subsequently produced in Connecticut under the direction of the late Kevin Gray. Other produced shows include 2 family musicals commissioned by Walden Media's Merlin's Apprentice, with music by Matthew Ward, and Rock Odyssey, with music and lyrics by Billy Strauss. Rock Odyssey has just completed an unprecedented 10-year run at the Adrian Art Center in Miami. Stephen is also a published author with 4 books to his credit, including That Book About That Girl, and I Could Have Sung All Night, and Marnie Nixon's story, Noel Coward and Charles Strauss's memoir, Put on a Happy Face. Now, Stephen has written continuity, narration, and special material for 20 different Drama League shows, including all-star tributes to Kander and Ebb, Liza Minnelli, Cheetah Rivera, Terrence McNally, Liz Smith, Peter Stone, and most recently, Angela Lansbury, as well as Patti LuPone, Kristen Chenoweth, and Audra McDonald. Some of the stars that Stephen has written material for include Marlo Thomas, Tyne Daly, Bernadette Peters, Christine Baranski, Hal Linden, Cheetah Rivera, Gavin McLeod, Dee Hoty, Christine Ebersole, Keith Carradine, Joanne Worley, I'll remember her from Laughing, Lauren Bacall, Matthew Broderick, Michael Rupert, Joel Gray, and many others. Stephen is also the recipient of a Gilman Gonzalez Fowler commendation for musical theater. He was also named one of Variety's 50 creatives to watch in 2000. And the wonderful late Liz Smith in her syndicated column has called Stephen's lyrics brilliant and gifted. As a producer, Stephen presented Liza Minnelli, Barbara Cook, David Hyde Pierce, and many others in an 80th birthday tribute to John Kander. Stephen has also released a series of CDs entitled Mermania on Harbinger Records. These include never-before-released selections sung by his favorite star and friend, Ethel Merman. Besides writing the CD booklets for these and his original cast CDs, Stephen has written the DVD booklets for the box set of That Girl, Season 1, and Anything Goes. He recently conceived, wrote, and directed Lynn Halliday in My Heart Belongs to Mary, a celebration of the career of Mary Martin. An off-Broadway expansion of this became Inventing Mary Martin and played to rapturous audiences at the York Theatre Company in the spring of 2014. And it was absolutely incredible. He's just unbelievable. I mean, his accolades just go on and on and on. And recently he conceived and wrote and hosted an evening of songs entitled Coal Mining, the songs of Stephen Cole at Off-Broadway Urban Stages. And that's a fantastic place too. The evening featured numbers from many of his shows sung by some of the best, Marnie Nixon, Clea Blackhurst, and Sarah Zahn, and many others. Besides his published books, including Marnie Nixon's memoir, I Could Have Sung All Night, which is in development right now as a feature film, and that book about that girl, Stevens recently won first prize from Hickory Stump magazine for his short story Sisters Through a Window, and had another of his stories, Over the Hill, featured in their summer issue. Stephen is at work on a novel as well, and he's also developing a new sitcom based on his story, Coney Island Surprise. Really, really amazing. And that's just the short list, folks. That is just the short list of some of the incredible things that our very special guest has been involved in over the years. And again, he has provided so much entertainment. He's worked with some of the very, very best. He's a big-hearted person. There he's, of course, getting the Excellence in Theater Awards as well for original music for Merman's Apprentice. And at the Sonoma Arts Live, that's a very coveted award. And that's just one of many, many awards that our very special guest has achieved in his illustrious career. So it is my pleasure here on the Jim Masters Show Live to welcome dear friend, creative talent extraordinaire, live and direct, not from a studio, not from a stage, but from his comfy home office, which we all tend to be doing these days. The one and only Stephen Cole joins us live here on the show. Stephen, welcome to the show. It is a pleasure to have you here, sir.
Oh my God. I think my whole life just passed before my eyes. When I heard all that, Jim, I thought, why aren't I a lot richer? What is
Isn't that how it works?
I've done so much. Why am I even alive?
Yeah.
Anyway, here's to us.
Yes, let's have our toast. We will begin our toast. What do you have in your glass?
Exactly. I had vodka, and nice. I had, because I drank so much during my credits. So
yeah,
it's lovely. It's lovely to be with you.
It's lovely to be with you as well.
And to hear all that again. Oh my God.
Well, let's go back a little further.
Yeah.
When did you realize in your youth that you were destined to get into this line of work? You love the arts, you love writing, you love creating and producing. did the family notice? Did teachers notice? When did people start to notice that Stephen has this extraordinary gift that he's eventually going to run with and turn into this brilliant career you've had, Stephen, all these years?
Well, I started out only wanting to be a performer. I could sing and I could imitate anybody from the records that I played. Do you remember records, right?
Oh,
And
sure.
uh, and in junior high school in Canarsie, Brooklyn, I starred in Annie Get Your Gun, not as Annie, but as Frank. And I did summer stock from 14 on. I don't think anybody except one teacher in junior high school, a music teacher, who wasn't even my teacher, but who musical directed the show, he noticed all the talent and he showed me off to all the teachers. And it was a little embarrassing at the time, but I just loved performing. And it took all the way to being 14 where I discovered that I could also write. And it was becoming a lyricist that really started me off. And so I had to learn my craft. So I learned from the greatest teacher that ever was, Cole Porter. I picked up a book and I dissected his lyrics and I wrote my first musical at 15, which was produced at 16 in Brooklyn College with my friend Alan Matlick. And I directed it and I choreographed it and I was in it. And we sold lemonade in the lobby and we did everything possible by ourselves. And that was really the start. But I still stayed a performer until I became about 21 and wasn't a kid anymore. I
Mm.
always played kids. I was in To Kill a Mockingbird as Dill. I was in Charlie Brown. And so I played a lot of kids. And once that was over, I realized, what am I going to do with this career? I didn't turn out to be 6'2", and Nathan Lane had not been invented yet. So
Right.
I had no roles to play. So I went back to my first love, which was writing, and found wonderful composers to work with. So that's sort of how it began and metamorphosed into what I've done. And luckily, I get to still perform every once in a while, and that's a lot of fun. But mostly, it's about the writing and the creating. And I don't think anybody took it too seriously while I was a teenager, except for me.
Right.
I did.
Isn't it amazing how you have to hit the enter key to get the lighting, the good lighting back
Yes,
on the computer?
exactly.
It's a whole world, whole different setup now compared to being on the stage. So what was professionally one of the very first things that you got a chance to work on, Stephen?
Well, I would say I was professional at 14 because I did summer
Yeah.
stock. I was an apprentice, which
Right.
meant you didn't get paid, which
Right.
meant that you sewed costumes and painted scenery and did everything that you needed to do. But I worked with top professionals in Lake Placid Playhouse. We were apprentices there. One of the other apprentices there was Charles Bush, who
Mm,
became a good friend of mine and
right.
went on to write such hits as Vampire Lesbians of Sodom and other things. And he still works a lot now. And his friend Andy Halliday, they had written a musical, and they're the ones who enticed me to do my own. So there's how that all happened. But I would say it was that summer stock season where I did George M. and Fiddler on the Roof and Camelot and Do I Hear a Waltz and Plaza Suite with top professionals and learned how to do it.
Mm,
And that was amazing. The first musical that I got on that I wrote was Godsworth, starring
mm,
Hal Linden and
yeah.
Dee Hoty, which was for me starting at the top and really taking your feet and throwing them into the fire, because we had to do an original brand new show, Jeff Saver and I, in Fort Worth, Texas, with stars and a big cast, and rewrite every single day. We
Mm,
learned how to do it. There's literally no way, when people ask me, how do you write a musical? Well, there's no way to do it because it's called rewriting, and it's called getting it on the stage and finding out what the audience thinks,
right.
where they laugh, where they applaud, and working with people like Hal, who was such a seasoned professional with the Tony Award from the Rothschilds, and was basically also a pain in the ass because he kept challenging the material. And by him being a pain in the ass and challenging the material, it got better.
That's what happens.
And I look back on him now, and I wanted to slap him then, but now I thank him a lot. And I ran into him just a couple of years ago at Sardi's, and he was well in his 80s playing a gig at, I think, at the Carlisle, and I had Inventing Mary Martin off Broadway, and we had a nice reunion because I had just been talking about him to some of my Rhodes Scholars, which is a group I do tours with.
Right.
And it was a wonderful thing to actually get together and say, hey, Hal, I wrote Dodsworth. He said, oh, that was great. I miss doing shows like that. That was a wonderful thing.
That's amazing. That's a fantastic story. It really, really is. So then things sort of just developed and progressed from there in your life, right? Were you just constantly creating and collaborating and having projects come your way and then you creating them as well?
Yeah, nothing ever, things come your way, sort of. The most wonderful word in the English language is commission.
Right.
That means you're commissioned to do something,
Right.
and people pay you up front. But most of my favorite things have happened because I decided to do them for no commission, no money. And I was lucky enough to work with several composers at the same time. As I was writing Dodsworth with Jeff Saver, I was writing After the Fair with Matthew Ward. And so there we were in Texas doing Dodsworth. And the next year I came back to Texas, again, not the same theater, with After the Fair. And you start to get a rhythm going. I was lucky enough to work with a couple of great composers. Even to this day, having David Evans and David Crane at the same time means I have two different shows happening. And then also to have worked with the great Clabe Richardson. I have to always say him. He's gone now. He wrote The Grass Harp, for people who really know their forgotten musicals. And I sought him out to write with. And we wrote The Night of the Hunter, which I won the Kleban Award for,
Right.
and Saturday Night at Grossingers, which started out with Gavin Mcleod and Ruta Lee, and is going to be produced again next season in Sonoma. So it's really the collaborations and the great people I work with, and being able to work with them consistently, and not everybody is right for the same show. I wouldn't necessarily be right for every type of show, and the composers are the same. And so someone will react to material in a way that another person will not. So I've been incredibly lucky that way.
So was there ever an internal battle between being the writer and the producer versus the performer? Did you ever lean in a direction towards one or the other, or have you always sort of kept each at play? Because that sometimes is a struggle when you master several different things. They all tug at you at the same time.
I let the performing go for a long time. I decided I was retired. I was not doing that. I could sing when I needed to show people the songs. I could act. I could do, but I let that go. Now that I look back, I think I should have kept them all going at the same time. Because now I enjoy performing again.
Right.
I was about to do a one-man show when all this broke, when all the theaters decided we can't do anything. It was going to be in Brooklyn, in the same theater that produced my very first musical. And that was going to be an interesting thing, to get back on the stage all by myself, sing a little bit, do some stand-up. And it'll happen, obviously. But in a way, when they said, we're closing like every other theater, I went, phew.
Right.
I didn't really have to do it right then and there. Writing for me is more of a control thing, too. I like to be in control of the material. I think an actor or a performer is less in control than a writer or director. I may be wrong, and I may have people saying absolutely not, but for me it's been that way. So being a control freak means I can write, and I could get up in the morning and write something and not have to ask permission. And as an actor, I was constantly auditioning and asking permission. So
Now,
that was the difference.
exactly. Now, are you inspired by life? Meaning, are you a keen observer of life and inspired by just some of the things that you see go on, and that inspires creativity? Do you wake up sometimes at 2 o'clock in the morning and start going to the computer, start typing because you've been inspired by a late night thought or something?
Sometimes, yeah. I've been inspired during this whole terrible stay-at-home COVID experience. I did write a really strong and funny short story that takes place slightly in the future, about a year from now, in the theater, and people can read that. It's called One on the Aisle. It's on Facebook, and it's it that inspired me. I write comedy songs that inspire me from what we're going through. But everything does. Your life is certainly your material. And for me, when David Crane and I went to the Middle East and had the most insane experience writing the first American musical to premiere there, we knew that experience was a musical. And
Right.
so we wrote that and changed all the names to protect us. And so that was definitely taken from life. Merman's Apprentice is only taken from the fact I did know Ethel Merman, as you saw in the picture, and I had hair and everything.
Tell us
And
about
she,
that. Before we get into
you
Murmur's
know,
Apprentice, how did you guys meet? How did you and Ethel Merman meet and form this wonderful relationship?
I look back now and I'm so lucky because it was not a professional relationship. It was a friendship.
A
I was
friendship.
a young kid who decided one day, I was in between acting and writing. I didn't know what I was going to do. And I thought, I'll be a producer. I want to produce for television. And I went to see in 1981. It's funny, I just found the cassette of this. I went to see Ethel do her symphony concert with the Long Island Symphony Orchestra in Lehman College in the Bronx. And coming out of that, I went, I'm going to call her up and I'm going to produce one of her concerts on cable television, which
Wow.
was very young at the time, if you
Right.
recall.
Yeah.
And I picked up the phone and called her manager the next day. He answered. He was homesick. And he said, his name was Bob Gardner. He's still with us. And Bob said, oh, yeah, sure. Why not? I was a
It's like
kid.
you struck the
And,
lottery. Yeah.
and he said, listen, she's going to be playing Carnegie Hall next year. Why don't you bring cameras into that? And I went, I'll call you back. And I called some friends who were in television. I knew some good people, smart people. And I said,
And
well,
did
what
you
do I
pinch
do
yourself
now?
too? You were pinching
And
yourself along the way, right?
yeah, I was going to produce this and I knew
Unbelievable.
nothing. So they helped me get a budget together and I wrote a proposal and I sent it off to the advertising agency who handled Kraft cheese because I wanted a Kraft music hall. Remember those?
Mm.
And it was going to be on CBS cable. And I got a phone call from the president of not Kraft, I'm sorry, of the advertising agency. And he said, yes, we are interested. You can call up CBS cable and say we would sponsor it. Now, when does that happen? I was barely in my 20s.
Right.
And I remember we called them and we had meetings and it was about to happen. And CBS Cable, which was a very distinguished cable company, went under
Oh,
within
yeah.
6 months. And we had no show. But by that point, I had become very friendly with Ethel's agent. And he got me friendly with Ethel. And when I went to see her at Carnegie Hall for
It's
the first
incredible.
time, I went backstage and she said, I'm coming to your show. I'm coming to your house and I'm going to see all the videos. She knew I had a lot of videos and I would put on a show for her and her son. And so that's what we did. We put on a show, gave her dinner. Her son was there and she became a good friend. After that, she brought all her friends over all the time to watch herself on my TV screen. And she was hilarious. She would point to herself and say, you see me there? That's 1966, and I wasn't wearing a bra. If I did that now, they would hit the floor. And that was Ethel. And she'd then take us all out to dinner. She brought over mostly a bunch of guys who were her friends, and one or two star friends like Benet Venuta and Maria Karnilova, who had been in shows with her, Gypsy. And we'd go out to dinner, and there'd be 2 women and 20 men. And she'd say, now we're all going to sit boy, girl, boy, girl. That was Ethel. So years later, after she was gone, and I realized what a fun relationship I had with her and what a warm, vulnerable, sweet woman she was beyond that star, I decided to write Merman's Apprentice. And I wrote a short story, sent it off, and David Evans thought, what a great idea. And we got together and wrote the musical version of that. But it's about a little girl named Muriel Plackenstein, a 12-year-old girl, not me, who gets to know Ethel Merman in 1970 when she's about to go on in Hello, Dolly. And so she becomes her apprentice and gets to become a star, the dream of many little girls.
Yeah. And that's where we met actually at that show that night with Ralph Lampkin and Reva Solomon, as I mentioned in the introduction, and the wonderful Claire Blackhurst and so many. I think Brian Charles Rooney was there. There's a whole group of fabulous people in New York. As a matter of fact, for our audience's edification, we have a little clip that we want to share from that actual night. And we'll take a look at that right now. Merman's Apprentice. This is one of the great works of the illustrious Stephencole, our guest here on the Jim Masters
Show. And David
Show.
Evans, the composer.
And David Evans is as well. Here we go. Here's that clip. Let's take a look, and we will enjoy this together. Merman's Apprentice.
I finally made it. And I found with voices around you. Harmony, symphony, with one hide the sun and the never on with Billy, and I have been out there. She will not hurt her bra, because if I did, you don't see my boobs hit the floor.
There's Mary Martin, can you not like a Mary nurse and a dog on a bike?
Sure, Mary is sweet, but she's also a she.
A Broadway star.
Mary Martin's okay if you like talent. Hey, no autographs, get the heck out of my way. I've had Abbott and Robbins and Josh direct this day. No matter how much they direct me, each part that I play is the same.
So what if her eyes are a little too near? And what if her breakfast is corn legs and beer?
I enter and all homosexuals cheer.
Her picture in everyday life, and she's so broad.
Oh, please.
Dear heart.
Hey, let me pass. Move your ass.
Broadway star.
Animal Hattie. Okay, Muriel Blackenstein, if you can tell me who was my leading man in Happy Hunting, you can come to rehearsal with me this afternoon as my guest.
Wow and a half. Is that a promise?
Yes.
Happy hunting. Happy hunting. Fernando Lamas.
Right, I hated that guy.
Oh, you all think I'm weird. I'm all about Ethel.
He's all about Ethel.
Yes, I'm very smart in Mary Martin as well.
Watch it.
I know that gimmicks are good for scripts, though I don't know why this show is called Gypsy. Soon will be the Ethel Merman Show.
you see? Didn't I tell you Broadway was a place where dreams come true? Showbiz. It really was better than life. Right, Muriel?
You bet your ass!
Absolutely amazing. That was fantastic. And of course, remembering it so well. And, you know, a lot of great bring on the talent. We sure did. Scott, good to see Scott K here, and June Rachelson Aspa, and Ralph Lampkin, and so many people, Christopher Joseph, and June sends her love as well. We are loaded with comments here. Very interactive show, the Jim Masters show live here. Clea Blackhurst, she's hysterical. Absolutely. Love your work. The voices are amazing. Love the musical clips. We have tons of great comments here, Stephen. Everybody's loving it. And look at this.
Yay.
The star of that show, Clea. I've never heard this origin story, she says, Stephen. That's Clea watching right now. Hello, Clea. Good to see you. We send you.
Well, Clea, I have Clea and I once did a wonderful duo performance. And it was about review. It was at Lincoln Center. They had an exhibit on review, and we got together and sang from the George White Scandals. And she did Ethel's biggest hit song from that show, Life is Just a Bowl of Cherries. And together we did Ladies and Gentlemen, That's Love, which is an obscure song. And we taught, we combined our two Mermania brains. And I think, Clea, we should be doing that again and getting together and telling more Ethel stories because they keep coming. And I feel so happy to have known her and have a lot of fun stories. But writing this show and having the talent, I mean, people said to me, who are you ever going to get to play Ethel Merman?
Right.
And I just, I went, take a look at this woman. And when we did our first living room reading, and Clea, you'll remember this, she sang songs, some of them were cut already, and she was so fabulous. And somebody was there and said, I saw Ethel in Annie Get Your Gun, the revival in 1966, and she's much better. And so Clea is a dream. She's lovely.
Clea says, that's love. And she says, hiya, ladies and gentlemen. And Michael Colby says, hello to everybody as well. Welcome, Michael. It's great to have you with us. And of course, our love to Clea. Love to have Clea as a guest on the show too. That would be real
must.
Heck of, again, the last time I saw her, she was performing at Yale University, and that was a great performance as well. Marianne Lapinto says she was the photographer for this. She's watching as well. Correct. Michael Colby says hi. And Scott K says, love your work. Christopher Joseph says, these voices are amazing. And Marianne also mentions Anita Gillette, of course. That's right. And Anita Gillette was part of this. And
Anita Gillette played Ethel's mother. We had a fun conceit. The show is not based on fact. It's really a musical fable. And we decided, what are we going to do with Ethel's parents, who she loved so much? And when I first sat down to write them, I thought, well, they'll just be big and loud like her. And then I thought, no, they'll be really quiet.
Right.
And so we wrote a song for them about how they love their little baby girl, but she's so loud.
Right.
And we got the great Anita Gillette to play her mom, and it was amazing. And that was an amazing. We did that show again when the CD came out from J Records, and so we could do a CD signing also. We did that at Birdland as well, and then it, just recently it played in Sonoma, and with a completely different cast, fabulous people. Fabulous. Every town has their own fabulous Ethel Merman, I have to say. So this show needs to be done everywhere.
Absolutely.
And we won the Best Score Award from the San Francisco Bay Area Theater.
That's right.
we were thrilled about. But now our dream is to get a full production here in New York, when and if the theaters open again.
That's right. Mary Ann says Clea is amazing. Did the Merman show, and Scott says let's have a quarantini, and Joan Hackett Wodomski says, this is awesome. Cole is an Ethel enthusiast for sure, as well as a lot of us. And Christopher Joseph says, life is a bowl of cherries. Great song. Clea says, thank you, Stephen, as he has his quarantini. And Christopher says hello. And June Rachelson Aspa says hello to you as well. And Marianne says a loving fable. We have folks that are chiming in live right now, both on YouTube. We're simulcasting. We do this show nightly at 7 p.m. Eastern live, 4 p.m. Pacific, the Jim Masters Show live. We welcome all of you. We simulcast on YouTube and on Facebook, all at Jim Masters TV. This is an entertainment lifestyle talk show. 5 weeks old. Again, I do this work professionally, but we decided to open up the home studio and do it here, and it's just taken off, and I'm so blessed, and I welcome all of you. Let's see. We've got more coming in. Scott says, sing I Love Canarsie.
See, there's a song. There's a song, because little Muriel Plackenstein is from Canarsie, just as I was. There was a song in the show, it's still in there, called I Miss Canarsie. And it's her little ballad. I'm not singing it.
No,
but it's, you can get the CD and hear it.
You get the CD. Christine
Scott
Fairwood.
was there to seeing the show. He's from Canarsie.
He's from Canarsie. Christine says, Clea, what a talent. Austin Greenfield says, this was a great clip. June Rachel Sinaspa says, amen. And David Crane says, how about talking about the upcoming Going Hollywood, Stephen?
Yes, of course.
Yes. Let's talk about that. That's
Perfect
a wonderful
segue, Mr.
introduction,
Crane.
David. Yeah, perfect. Tell us about that.
So after David Crane and I wrote Aspire in the Middle East and The Road to Qatar, we've been looking for another piece all along to work on together, and something that was not tiny, because The Road to Qatar only had 5 actors in it, and that was wonderful, and it was, producible in a smaller scale. So we wanted to write something bigger, and Going Hollywood is a totally original show about 2 writers in what they feel is the worst time of their lives, and it turns out to be prophetic, because it's almost about now, except that we wrote it a few years ago. And it's about how they go to lunch at this restaurant called the Super Chief Dining Car in Grand Central Station. It's a perfect replica. And they wish to live in a time that was better, in a time where they could write movie musicals. And they are whisked away on this Super Chief Dining Car across country to Hollywood and 1949. And they get to work at MGM in 1949 thinking everything will be wonderful. But guess what, kids? There was the blacklist, there was racism, there was sexism, there was all those things that seem to keep coming up all the time. But they find success. They even write a movie musical for Ann Miller, I want you to know. And it's a wonderful, funny, big, serious musical too, because it's about the blacklist. And we're lucky enough to have a world premiere coming up at the Water Tower Theater in Dallas, Texas in June of 2021. It's always been planned for 2021. When they first told us, we'll do this in June of 2021, it was before all this happened. We went, oh, why can't it be now? And we're going, oh, thank goodness we're waiting for June of 2021.
Here's the question.
We want an audience.
You want to have the audience out. You got to have the audience. Marianne asks, she mentions you wrote the show, of course, Casper, which we talked about in the introduction, starring the wonderful Cheetah Rivera. Any chance for this happening here?
Well, the Cheetah Rivera version was a big fat musical that toured the country and did very well. And the one we just did at Cincinnati Children's Theater was a more kid-friendly version, and that went even better.
Yeah.
So I would love to see it here in New York. I could see it at Madison Square Garden. I could see it as one of those family holiday shows. And so we're always in hopes. Yes, of course. But back to Going Hollywood. I don't know. It oddly enough. How does a show even start? It came from a song that we wrote called Alice's Song, which we wrote for Alice Hammerstein's 90th birthday. David Crane was good friends with Alice Hammerstein. That's Oscar Hammerstein II's daughter.
That's right.
And we wrote it for her. She enjoyed it. And then when she came to see Inventing Mary Martin, we got to sing it for her on her 93rd birthday. And so that song,
that's an honor,
we loved, was the basis in a way for the whole show, because I wanted that song to be in a show. And so the leading lady character's name is Alice. And so that song has wound up in very different version in the show, but it's how, sometimes you don't even know you're going to be writing something that will wind up in a show.
Exactly.
And there's that song. Yeah.
Jocelyn Weston is watching on YouTube. Good to see you, Jocelyn. Thank you for joining us here on the show tonight. It says, fabulous interview. We thank you very much. And Stephen Cole is brilliant. Of course, we all think that. And Scott K says, road trip to Dallas 2021. That's Scott K.
Yes.
And Linda A says, you need to be on Broadway.
Oh, yay. That has been the elusive thing. I'm so happy that I've had off-Broadway shows and gotten awards for that. This show, Going Hollywood, is either it's Broadway or bust. Let's put it that way. It can't be done with less than a cast of 16. So it's not going to be at a tiny little theater somewhere. It will be the big show. So we're not dead yet, are we?
Not at all. I have a couple more clips that we want to share with our illustrious worldwide audience, and we welcome all of you. If you're just joining us, I'm your host, Jim Masters. We're here every single night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. Live entertainment, lifestyle talk show, The Jim Masters Show Live. Great guests, fun segments. We go on location. We do food. We do music. We do a whole host of great things every single night right here on Facebook at Jim Masters TV. YouTube at Jim Masters TV. We invite you to subscribe to the YouTube channel and like the page and share the love. This show is all about light, levity, and love, lifting spirits, having good times as well. And we have a couple of clips here. Let's see what we're going to run with here. This is Alice's song, I think.
Well, that's what we were just talking about.
Yeah, I see that clip.
And I think we're doing it for Alice Hammerstein when she was 93.
That's it. Let's take a look at that right now.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at this quick clip we have here.
This is called Alice's Song.
It's Alice's Song. Oh, that's it. I mean, no. We had the wonderful Rebecca Luker sing it for Alice on a recording, but she couldn't be here, so you're stuck with me, the lyricist and the composer. Yeah.
Some people race through the years. Some people saunter and stroll. Some people sit and watch, sipping a glass of scotch, letting the years take their toll. Others can laugh through their tears, giggling away what is wrong, tossing aside the past. These are the ones who last, turning their lives into song. This is Alice, there on the wings of a song. Look at Alice, just dancing along. After the smoke finally clears, what turns December to June. Some folks get passionate if there is cash in it. Alice is strangely immune. She knows that life is a tune. La la la, la la la. Hey there, Alice, what is this magic you do? them within your hand, making your melody float, leaving a tune we can quote. That is the song Alice wrote. La la la, la la la, la la la. We will keep singing that to you forever. How about next year?
You wrote that?
We wrote that. We wrote that. And because we love it so much, it's going in our next show. I just want you to know, we have a character named Alice, and you're right. So, excuse me?
3 years ago, 3 years for her 90th birthday. Today is her 93rd birthday.
Yay. Thank you. Excuse me? Thank you. And while you're all here,
Let's chat a minute.
yes, let's chat a minute. Any questions?
Maybe you should.
Yeah. What do you want?
We want to mention.
That is fantastic. And lots of love with all these great comments coming our way as well. A lot of people from all over the world we're seeing here. This is fantastic.
That's great. You got to see David Crane. That's on the set of our show at the York Theatre Company, Inventing Mary Martin, on the brilliant set of that show. And it was after the show that we got to do that for Alice. And I think that was her last birthday.
Right. We have another clip here too. Hot for Howdy.
Oh, okay. You have time?
Yeah. Oh, for you, we have time. We will part the seas. Let's take a look at that and we can talk about it right after. Here we go.
Okay.
And this was with Christine Baranski, right?
Yes.
Yes.
This shows how a star can make your material 10 times better than you ever dreamed.
Yeah.
And she's a genius. And the music's by Jeffrey Safer. And it's an absolutely the silliest song I ever wrote. Hit it.
Absolutely. I just want to throw in here that I concur. She's absolutely fantastic and got a chance to chat with her very recently at a gala event for because I've been with public television for many years as well. And this was a gala event for the retirement of the CEO and president of, by the name of Jerry Franklin, or for the 33 years of Connecticut Public Television. And she was our MC for the entire evening. And she's just fantastic. Really an amazing actress, a wonderful person, a great talent. And now let's see her belting out this from Hot for Howdy. Here we go.
If you are over 40, and I hope to God you are, you'll remember when TV was black and white as well as free. And you won't be shocked to learn that when I wished upon a star, I wished for the love of a major TV personality. If today I stand before you, sullen, pale, and moody, it's because I've always pined for Pine. You got it. Howdy doody. Yes, I'm still hot for howdy. And if Buffalo Bob allowed, he would be my wedded spouse, and we'd be happy, knock on wood. And I'd be Mrs. Doody, though my friends might jeer and taunt. Your husband's just a puppet. I'd say that's just what I want. It wasn't just that Howdy was a puppet. Oh no, it was more than that. He had nice friends, you remember, Clarabelle and Flubadub and Dilly Dally. And his hair, oh, his hair. Even though I only saw it in black and white, I dreamed about that red hair for years. The truth of it is, I still do. Though years have come between us, and I've known some other men, it is clear to me, despite it all, that we are truly matched. And though I am over 40, Howdy still is pushing 10. Well, when you love a marionette, there there's always strings attached. So if I seem to be a trifle dull and grim, it is passion eating me alive and termites eating him. Yes, I'm still hot for howdy, of that fact I still am proud, even though his head is hollow and his freckles painted on. I long to be Frau Duty, yes, I crave each moving joint. You say my man's a dummy, I say yeah, so what's your point? Now I'm still hot for howdy, and I heard he's well endowed. He has never made a pass or even gotten to first base. No, I could not entice him, though I fluff and preen and primp. I guess with no one pulling strings, the guy is kinda limp. No, now don't laugh now, and don't be sad either. And if someday you see a lonely woman in the Museum of Broadcasting drooling over one of the consoles, don't pity her, for remember, it is better to love a piece of wood than to be one. And I'm still hot for howdy, but there is still a rub. 'Cause howdy's in the closet, dilly-dallying with Flubber Dub.
That was fantastic. And are you there?
Hello. I am here. What happened?
Are you there? Are you there?
Hello.
Let's see if we could bring you back.
Something happened.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to you. I thought you were. I hear you.
I should be. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, but we don't see. I wonder what happened. I don't know where you disappeared to. Is there? You're using your phone, you said, right? So is there an adjustment on your phone? Maybe it went to sleep, or there's a screensaver.
It went to sleep, I think. Yeah.
That's what happens. Yeah. I think that's what. We're
well, that was a great song anyway.
That's right. The Phantom of Stephen Cole is with us. I think we've got some comments coming in while I see him. He's getting close. You almost got it there.
I don't know. It says it's video on. Okay.
I can hear you, but it is like Blackout Tuesday. Yes. And I think what he just did is he disconnected himself. He will have to dial back in. What he was doing was he was using his phone because let's see. There you are. There you are. You're there. You're there. Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I
out to command.
You know, we on-air types, I could have vamped for an hour until you got back easily. Right. And no dead air. Dead air is a bad thing. So welcome back. And Joseph Weiss just said, great Blackout sketch. And,
yes.
And he said, I can hear you, but it's like Blackout Tuesday. And very, very funny clip. These are all great clips. Good stuff. And more coming in. Linda says, hope to see you in Dallas 2021. And then it's Hollywood going to Broadway. And Joan said, yay, howdy. And Erica Johansson says, hi, Stephen. Hello, Erica. Hello, Linda and Joan and Joseph. We welcome all of you.
Let me tell you how that song came to be. It was not written for Christine. It was written for another performer. And she came to me and told me that when she was a young woman, she was in love with Howdy Doody. And I thought that was the most wonderful, funny thing. And I sat down and I started coming up with rhymes that I thought were funny. I thought about knock on wood, and just duty itself, obviously, is a very funny word. And so I started writing that. And when the verse sings about when you are over 40, and I hope to God you are. Now we would have to say over 60, of course, for Howdy Doody. But at the time, we took it to that singer who I sang it for her, and I sang, if you are over 40. And she said, well, I love the song, but none of my friends will believe that I'm over 40. I said, you're over 60. And she didn't do the song. So luckily, we had this opportunity to have Christine do it. And it's one of those things where it's been done and no one will ever do it better.
Right.
And it was done in a huge church like that. So she's a dream. I ran into her at a screening of the National Theatre Follies, and I introduced myself again. We hadn't seen each other in years. And I reminded her of the song and said, oh, I would love to have my children see that. I said, it's on YouTube. It's got about 10,000 hits. So
that's fantastic. Yeah, her voice, she just really nailed it. It's very, very beautiful, and she just hit it right on the head there. When you look at your incredible body of work, Stephen, and I mean, it really is extraordinary, and you think of all the millions of people who've been witness to your illustrious career, and the lives you've touched, and the smiles you put on people's faces, which is something we could all use, a double dose of right now. What brings you the greatest blessing and joy with all of this work and what you've done thus far and what you currently do in your career and in your life, Stephen?
It's going to the next step always. It's always what the next thing I'm doing, making sure things get on the stage. That's the joy of it, and seeing an audience.
Right.
During that whole run of Inventing Mary Martin, which I got to direct myself, and it's the only show I've done where I've directed it. And I really have no desire to direct most of my musicals, but that one, I worked with such incredible people that I wanted to have that vision. And it was a real joy to do it. As opposed to Murmur's Apprentice, which is a funny show about Ethel Merman, that was a tribute to Mary Martin's 100th birthday. And David Crane and I would go almost every night. And if we didn't stay, we'd come back at the end to see how people were loving it. And it was an incredible joy. I think I sat and cried at that show all the time because I saw the joy that we gave and that Mary Martin herself gave. We were so lucky early on. Mary's daughter came and Mary's grandchildren came, including, it's funny, you have the genie lamp, but I've become friendly with Larry Hagman's son because he came to the show, and Preston and his wife, and they took us to 21 for my birthday. But it was such a wonderful thing to see Mary's kids, her one surviving daughter, Heller, and the grandkids and the great grandkids that didn't even know how famous Grandma was. And so that was a joy. That was a great joy. And I want to do that show again just because that she brought such youth and joy and wonder to the world, and to bring it in that form of a review about her. I'd love to do that again. So I get joy watching the audiences, and of course, if they fall asleep, I don't get any joy.
Right, exactly.
Then I knock them in the head,
Yeah. Frederick Landau says that was an amazing night. The number was a surprise, and then seeing the writer was a young kid. Wow.
Yes, he was very young. He was 12.
That's amazing. So you were talking about some of the things that you've been working on during, obviously, this homebound situation that we've all had to experience, Stephen. How have you been coping with it? What are some of the things that you've been doing to stay connected and creative?
Short stories, which I really enjoy doing and have had some success with recently. I have a finished novel that I sent out to a very big agent recently, and we're hoping to find a publisher for that. It's the last word I will have about Ethel Merman and Mary Martin, but it's a fantasy novel that uses them also as characters, and it's a time travel piece, and it's really good. But I hope that's it, and I don't write about them anymore. I've got to get them out of my system. But this book is wonderful. So I worked on that a little bit. We've done songs. David Crane and I did some really good small rewrites for Going Hollywood that changed things, tiny little things. Getting ready to do a workshop of that in Texas in December. So we've done that. A couple of little song lyrics here and there. That's basically it. I'm watching a lot of Facebook.
Yeah.
sitting here, playing
Seeing what's
games.
going on in the world.
Yeah,
David
what's
actually,
going on in the world, and screaming and crying and all of the rest. So,
like we all are.
We're in bizarre times, but I know I'll have the shows. The other show, Saturday Night at Gross Singers, will get on in Sonoma, also in 21. And that's exciting because that hasn't been on the stage for a while. And I know it's going to do really well there because we did Merman's Apprentice there. And we have a star that can play Jenny Grossinger, which is very important.
Absolutely.
And so that's all happening. So the usual, ride my bike, sometimes in a mask.
The mask, social distancing. David Crane says, tell how we happen to write Aspire.
Oh, God. Well, that's a crazy long story that became The Road to Qatar. I got an email one day that said, we want you, write musical, how much? And I thought it was one of those emails that said, give us your social security number and we'll give you $1 million. And it turned out to be real. And they put David Crane and I together. We had never met. And they forced us at gunpoint to write a big, huge musical that premiered for the Emir of Qatar. And it was the opening of a huge sports stadium called the Aspire Academy. And they've had the Asian Games there since then. And we were one of the events that opened it. By the way, I think what happened here is it says low battery.
Oh.
This is not a famous TV studio in my house. So if I disappear again, you'll know why. But Aspire was, all you have to do is buy the CD of The Road to Qatar, also on J Records, and you will get the whole story. And it's hilarious what we went through to write the biggest musical. It had flying carpets, it had fire eaters, it had 100 people on the stage, it had a 20 camel caravan.
Unbelievable.
And this was the musical we were allowed to and forced to write. So that was Aspire, and it has a gorgeous score with a symphonic, beautiful orchestrations, and we want to do it as a concert now. Because it's a wonderful story about a flying carpet kid who goes on adventures through the Middle East.
Sounds sensational. Where do you think all of this inspiration comes from, Stephen? Obviously, you're very passionate, you're so enthusiastic, and you're brilliant, like people have been saying tonight. Where do you think it comes from? It's there.
Yeah, it's there. You get to work and you learn. I believe I'm a musical theater historian. I know everything from the 20th century, from the great to the near great to the disastrous musicals, and learning from the greats is how you do it. If you can learn from Cole Porter and Rodgers and Hammerstein and Rodgers and Hart and Stephen Sondheim, then you are inspired. Sometimes I'm uninspired by what I see on Broadway, and that gets depressing. But you have to go back and say, no, I'm going to put on my blinders and just run my own race. Danny Thomas told that to Marlo Thomas, and who I've worked with over the years. And it's a great piece of advice. Just write what you want, and and hope for the best.
Is there anything on the stephencole bucket list in terms of projects or people you would love to work with, collaborate with? Anything that is out there? You've done so much already, Stephen.
No, I'm gone. I'm dead. I'm finished. I don't know. I would like to get this novel published. I really would like to get more. You know, I've been lucky enough to have 5 published books. One of them, the Marnie Nixon book, which was so exciting to work with her and to become her friend. And I love doing that as well as theater because it's slightly less collaborative, and I get up and just do it. So I'd like to do more of that, come up with another idea for a novel, and just keep doing it. And you know, the bucket list is really to get a Broadway show. So come on, David Crane, we've got the one ready to go.
That sounds terrific. Of the projects that you've worked on in your career, are there any that stand out as the real jewels in your crown? I mean, all of them are, but any that you're really the most proud of?
I have favorites. After the Fair is a great favorite.
Yeah.
Which did so well off Broadway. The Night of the Hunter is a major favorite.
Right.
Road to Qatar is one of the funniest musicals. We had people come to that and say it was funnier than a funny thing happened on the way to the Forum. And I said, no, but it was funny. And people were screaming with laughter. Yeah. So those are in my top. I love Merman's Apprentice because I love everything about the show. I don't think there's any of mine that I hate, but I do keep rewriting. You know, when we do Saturday Night at Gross Singers, even though it's been done all over, I'll probably do a new version of it because I think I'm a better writer than I was 5 years ago.
5 years ago, exactly.
So I think it's best to keep working at it.
How do you know when? Exactly. Keep honing the craft, keep working at it. How do you know when you're done? How do you know when to put a period on that very last sentence?
You really don't. You just stop. You're not done. You stop, and you're forced to. An opening night happens, and people literally say you can't do any more. I've had producers say you can't make any more changes, and I go and I cry a little bit, and then the next production I'll make those changes. You still write it down. So I think it can always get better. That's what live theater is. It can always get better. And,
absolutely.
And we keep making it better and better.
That's it. Well, I tell you, this was a real pleasure. I know that your cell phone there is probably blinking.
I'm down to 10% battery.
You're 10%. Wow, we've got that last 10% out of it. But you always give 110% in everything that you do, Stephen. And I think audiences around the world consider you a blessing. We all do. And June Rachelson Auspis says, no period, right on. That's great. Right. And Joan Hackett Wodomski says your short stories are so good. She loves those as well. So you've touched many hearts, Stephen. This was a blessing, really. And I toast to you. Let's bring our glasses together. We'll set a clangdom.
You too.
See if you can bring it. Where am I? Bring it to you. You're in a swivel chair. That's rough, right?
Yes, I can move.
So go right there. Bring it to the screen. Clang. There you go. We'll take it.
Yes, thank you. Okay.
And of course, Jeannie and George Burns gives you his best.
That's great. Next time I come on, I'll bring my Flahuli doll. Wait 1 second.
Oh, you've got something, huh?
Because she.
Oh, there you go.
My pride and joy. She is from the show, the musical Flahuli, and she's an original doll that was in the Broadway show with Barbara Cook.
That's right. Look at this matchup we've got with the two of them, huh?
Very cute.
You're not going to get this on any other. Yes, he's got his cigar. You're not going to get this on any other show, folks. That's for sure. That's you.
Okay. Well, thank you for having me.
You are welcome. And Frederick says, Jim, how do we get that jacket? Actually, some of the people have been asking me about the jackets that I've been wearing on this series, the Jim Master Show Live. A lot of these actually, one of the hats I wear, in addition to my work as a television radio host, actor, journalist, voiceover guy, the whole thing, I also am a host for MGM. and host a lot of their events and shows and contests and all kinds of cool things. So a lot of the jackets that I'm actually sporting on this series each night are jackets that I wear at MGM, but MGM has, of course, been closed like everything else. They're all closed. So we're wearing them here on the show. And Michael Colby says, excellent show. Thank you very much, Michael. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Michael.
June gives us hearts and a smile. Stephen, you've been providing lots of smiles all these years, and it's a pleasure to call you a friend and a colleague. You're a sport to come on the show and devote this amount of time. And I was so excited when you were available to hop on, because we've been working behind the scenes to put this together. And here's somebody else we want to throw in that you get a chance to see, and that is Jill Hopgood. Thanks for doing this interview, guys. It was a lot of fun. Very, very wonderful comment. Jill, it is our pleasure. We hope you'll be here. We're here nightly, 7 p.m. Eastern on the Jim Masters Show Live on Facebook and YouTube. Stephen, thank you very much. You are a blessing. You're a joy. And I hope you enjoyed this time with me as much as I have with you on the show.
I sure did. Now I'm going to go eat some fried chicken.
Ooh, some fried chicken, really?
I'm going to eat some fried chicken now.
We'll be right over. Oh, no, social distancing.
Okay, come on over.
We'll see you soon. All right. Have a good night, Stephen. Thanks for everything. Bye-bye now. A very special guest. Is he not amazing? He's not only a great talent, but he's a brilliant mind. And he shared some of it with us right now here live on the show. And great comments coming in as well. We've had comments from all over the world. Really great. Learned so much and laughed too. That's terrific. That's what it's all about, Frederick. Again, here on the Jim Masters Show Live, we've got extraordinary guests that are coming up almost every day here on the show. And we take you on location. We do food segments. We do a lot of great stuff, but it's all about light and levity and love. That's what this show is really about. Again, I do this as you're discovering me for the first time. I've been doing this for many years as a television and radio host, journalist, actor, voiceover actor, and stage host, writer, producer, professionally. And then we launched this show just 5 weeks ago, and it's just taken off. So many people joining us from all around the world, and I absolutely love it. We like to have a lot of fun. June Rachelson Osmond here. This is also a very interactive show. I love to have the viewer commentary and bring you guys in, because I'm, like Stephen, I'm a communicator. I'm very communal, so I like to have the interaction and feed off the energy of your wonderful comments and celebrate all of you as well. And as we get ready to wrap up this particular episode, don't forget, we're here tomorrow night. We're here every night. We have some amazing guests that are coming up as well. I just want to preview some of the extraordinary people that are coming up. We have the incredible actor and musician and singer, Paul Green. Paul Green, you may see, well, actually, I met Paul a couple years ago. He's a wonderful friend. He performs in a lot of those Hallmark movies that you see at Christmas time. He's a brilliant actor, and he's in a lot of the Hallmark movies. He's been in a ton of different movies. He performs at Carnegie Hall usually each year, and I MC the composer Tim Janis holiday concert extravaganza each year at Carnegie Hall. And Paul is usually one of the stars and one of the performers that comes in. He's a brilliant actor, singer, musician. And again, you see him a lot during a lot of the Christmas movies on Hallmark. He's all excited. He will be here next week. We're really excited about that. We also have the legendary Dr. Bernie Siegel, a man of great empowerment and inspiration and motivation. He has just written a new book as well. His grandson, Charlie Siegel, he's joining us as well. Hey, on Monday, and he'll be here a week from tomorrow. On Monday, we were really excited to have Mike Reiss here. Mike Reiss is one of the writers and producers of The Simpsons. Yes, the long-running animated series, The Simpsons. And he has been with them for a long time. And Mike is very excited. And Mike is going to be joining us here on Monday, this coming Monday. Mike Reiss, producer and writer of The Simpsons, one of the great collaborators of The Simpsons. He's going to be with us here this coming Monday. We're very, very excited about that. We also have brilliant guitarist John LaBarbera. This guy, you give him a guitar, no matter what kind of a guitar it is, acoustic, electric, a bouzouki, a Greek bouzouki, whatever it is, he plays it extraordinarily. He's a master of his craft. He performs everywhere. He's played every kind of instrument you can think of when it comes to within the guitar family. He's extraordinary. He's going to be here. He's going to be sharing some music with us as well. Kip Sturgeon is another brilliant musician. He's going to be joining us as well. Actress Clara Francesca, all excited to be here. She's here in 2 weeks with us here on the program. She's going to be joining us as well. Legendary composer. He's had multiple, I think 12 public television specials. A dear friend, Tim Janis, will be with us as well. SAG actor, television, film, and commercials. Dwight Turner is going to be joining us here live on the program as well. Mark Vitale. Mark stars many times in Broadway and off-Broadway, and he's a brilliant actor and singer. He was Jesus and Jesus Christ Superstar on Broadway as well. Dear friend, he's going to be joining us on the program as well. In a couple of weeks, Mike Casey, brilliant saxophonist, is going to be here live on the Jim Masters Show live. Very excited to have dear friend Mike Casey joining us. Also, coming up next Thursday, a very special guest, Buffy Ford Stewart. Buffy Ford Stewart is a singer, songwriter, children's book author. She lives just north of San Francisco. Her husband is the late John Stewart. John Stewart wrote the song Daydream Believer for Davy Jones and the Monkees, which of course was a mega hit. He was a brilliant songwriter. He passed in 2008. However, she continues his legacy. He was also one of the founding members of the Kingston Trio. So I actually was on a television shoot with her just north of San Francisco, and we filmed on location, and we spent about 10 hours with her, and she opened up her life and her home to us, and it was incredible. She's going to be here to celebrate John's life, but also tell us about all the amazing projects she's working on. She's actually working on a major motion picture celebrating John Stewart's life. Again, he also wrote the song Gold, which Elvis sang. Brilliant performer. And there's the two of them together, Buffy Ford Stewart, a few years back, of course, with John. And there she is today. She's going to be joining us here on the program, and countless more guests that are joining us. Creator of the International Happiness Club. This is a brilliant man himself. This is Lionel Ketchian. And if anybody needs happiness, it's all of us right about now. He's going to be joining us in just a few weeks as well. And just a pleasure to have all these wonderful people. There's a lot more. We'll tell you about them on tomorrow night's show. Just want to show you again this wonderful shot that I love of stephencole and Ethel Merman way back in that wonderful friendship that they had together. I appreciate him sharing his stories and his joy and his wisdom with us here exclusively on the Jim Masters Show live. We were talking about that clip with Christine Baranski belting that out, Hot for Howdy. And again, I had an opportunity to chat with her as well and speak with her. She is a brilliant actress. She's an amazing talent, and I believe she lives in Connecticut. And she's just a wonderful person with a great heart and a great soul, as is Stephen. And woohoo, exactly, June Rachelson Aspa. Woohoo is a good way to wrap that up. But again, we thank you for joining us tonight. And again, all these great guests and so many more people are going to be joining us here on the program. Now, if you'd like to see any of the archived shows, we have 5 weeks of shows, just about 5 weeks of shows available on the YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. All the great artists, comedians and singers and television actors and performers and spiritual, inspirational people and chefs and so much more. Go back in the archives at Jim Masters TV. Feel free to subscribe to the channel, that is, and let's have some fun together. We have so much fun on all of these shows, and we thank you for joining us here. We're here nightly, again, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, on Facebook at Jim Masters TV, and on YouTube at Jim Masters TV as well. All the archives are on Jim Masters TV on YouTube. So go back and enjoy them all. Binge if you want to do it. We thank you for that. And thank you for so many people who have been just spreading the word, sharing the love and light, sharing these fantastic episodes with our guests and so much more. All of the inspiration, all the love, and again, sharing the links to the shows, promoting the shows, and having watch parties and all kinds of great things. As you know, we always like to wrap up our broadcasts here on the Jim Masters Show Live with Relax. We picked this up in Newport, Rhode Island when we were on a vacation. And again, it's a beach scene from like the 1920s, 1930s there in Newport, Rhode Island. And this is something we all can do right now. Definitely, we can all use to breathe, to relax, comfort, and love one another. We've gone through some really unusual and difficult times, and count your blessings, count the joys in life that you have, your health, your loved ones, your friends, the ability to create. This is a time when there's a lot of innovation, entrepreneurship, new ways of thinking coming together. We're seeing that start to happen, and hopefully we can rise from the ashes, not going back to a new normal, but going to better. And that's all up to us. If we want things to be better in all aspects of life, it's all up to us to really create that. And we can collectively, because we all need each other. No matter how much we think we don't need each other, we really do. We're social distancing now, but I think we sort of started doing that with our heads stuck in our cell phones and stuck on social media, and nobody really being kind or empathetic, and everybody's saying, where's all the kindness and the empathy? And now we have to social distance, and nobody likes it. So it's a little taste of what it could be like if we continued to head in the direction we were headed in before. So hopefully we'll all come out of all of these things that we're experiencing. And, Godspeed to everybody and families and friends who have been, hit with all of the various aspects of the things we've been going through together. And it is together. We are all truly in all of this together. I know everybody's saying that. It sounds so cliche, but it's really true. We were placed on this planet to be together. We all need each other, feed off the energy of each other and give it back. So relax, breathe. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening. All of your friends are here: Jeannie, George, Silver, Jimmy. And remember, I may be the host and star of the show, but I think you guys are the real stars. I might be the host and the star, but you're the real star. And without you, none of this happens. So thank you very much. We thank once again our very special guest, award-winning musical theater writer and producer and performer, Stephencole. He's a blessing to have on the show. Got another comment coming in here. We can squeeze it in before we leave. Christine Fairwood says, great show. Love the clips. Thank you, everybody. Frederick and Michael and June and Joan and so many people, and David and all the folks who've joined us tonight. I hope you'll join us regularly as part of your evening diet, because we've got something different for everybody. The show isn't the same all the time. We are continuing to grow, and we're continuing to expand and tweak it as we go along. It's week number 5. We have a lot of action coming for you on the way. So for all of us here at the Jim Masters Show Live, we say thank you very, very much. We also want to once again thank our very special guest, Stephencole. We also want to thank our friends at LMG, Lampkin Music Group, for their continued support and love as well. They're a blessing. We thank them for being a part of the presentation as well. And again, we thank all of you from all around the world for joining us here on the program. It's a real blessing. It's a joy to have you here each night. I love this. Again, I do this professionally, but doing this out of the home studio and putting this together for you, it's really touched my heart to do this. And we'll continue to do it as long as you guys are there. Just spread the word, share the links, as everybody says, on YouTube and Jim Masters TV on Facebook. We'll have more content and cool stuff coming your way. For all of us at the Jim Masters Show Live, this is Jim Masters thanking you for your time this time. Till next time, tomorrow night, 7 p.m. right here on the Jim Masters Show. Good night, everybody. Thanks for being with us. You have a great night. Take care. Bye for now.